What's going on, guys? Kiger here. It's been a while since I've done an updated I/O guide. I'm going to go over everything as well as what the minimum and maximum are for each color. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so we get a lot of information just from this screen right here. So real quick, I/O stands for inscription and order. Inscription being the top half, which are all offensive stats. Order being the bottom half, which is all defensive stats. The core I/Os, which are the ones in the middle of each one, can be a mix of both, but generally leans towards the one that they're on. For example, the one we're looking at right now is my core inscription. So as you see, it is all offensive stats because it can be a mix of both, but there's a higher chance of being more offensive stats than any defensive stat. It could be 3 offensive, 1 defensive, 2. It could even though bad odds, be the inverse and be most, if not all, defensive stats. That's the thing with probability. Now, what happens here is you, for the regular ones, which are at the corners, you generally get them from PvP and PvE. You get them from PvP from Top League, at the end of the payout, and PvE you generally get them from Elemental Realm. The core ones, the middle ones, which are relatively new to the game, are generally from Burning Soul Battle, which is PvP. It would be really nice if there was a PvE option to get it. Maybe adding a 3rd or 4th boss to Crusade, and making the weekly Crusade payout core I/Os. That would be something to think about, or obviously a new game mode, what have you. But it would be nice to have that same kind of dichotomy of PvP and PvE. Now, you'll see several things on this page. You'll see the stats that we're looking at right now: debuff mastery, crit, damage increase, damage reduction. Damage reduction being a defensive stat, so I have 3 offensive and 1 defensive. I'm going to be going over others like the color and the maximum of it, but I just want to talk about what we see on the page right now, and then we'll continue as we go. So you'll see if I take this from 18 to 19, it'll get plus 1.2, plus 168, plus 1.6, plus 0.98. So the jumps per level are the same regardless. The base stat where it starts can be anything. That's where the colors come in, which we'll talk about in just a bit. But you'll see up at the top the succession rate at different grades. I'll show you the numbers in just a minute. You will have the success chance of upgrading. A big one is 9 and 10 are 20%, and there's no blessing, which we'll talk about in just a second. So you'll just be failing a lot at the 20%. People will ask, is there anything I can do? Unfortunately not. You just have to push through it, unfortunately. But then after a certain point, I think at plus 12, you get blessings, which is the green number right here. So with blessings, whenever you fail, the blessing goes up to 100%, assuming you're using protection material down here, which we'll also talk about. But once the blessing is over 100, you still need to use protection material, but it'll be guaranteed to go up. Only guaranteed if you use the protection material. It's going to require, as you see down here, copies of the same one, or with the core ones, it could require different things. That's a different subject. How do you get the protection material? From dismantling one, so you're going to need a lot of IOs. It is recommended, I'll show you as we go, it's recommended to bring them up to +3. It'll cost you 600 essence, and then you disassemble them, which will give you that 600 turns into 1000, so you get +400 essence. Now moving along, this is the succession rate, showing you the percentages. We'll go on to the next page. This is 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. This is the dreaded gap that people really hate. Then after here, high chances, 80, 60, 50, but you'll see core IOs is a lot lower. This is to make you have to get more. It's the newest thing. They need to push it a bit more, which is why it's a lower percent. And if you fail them, they go down instead of up, which is really bad. I don't suggest doing that. I suggest always using protection. Next, we see the colors matter here. So as you see, player damage reduction 20%, defense 5,000, defense 3,500. You see a big difference between the 5,000 and the 3,500. And then you'll see here the base CP is based on the stat and the color. As you see, this one over here, damage reduction and damage from players reduction, I would use this over this one, but the basic CP 2600 is lower than the basic CP of this one on the right. So if you're just doing CP, you would want to do the one on the right, but the one with better stats is the one on the left. In general, percentage stats are the best ones for whatever you're doing. Real big players who have been playing for a long time have ones like this, which are general stats and PvP stats, and they'll have a secondary one that's primarily for PvE, not in general for orders, because this is more defensive, and in PvE you don't really need a defensive one, but they will generally have a second set of offensive ones, one for PvP, one for PvE. This is just another example. And this is showing you re-rolling, remodeling. And what happens here is you use one of the same type. Thankfully, you don't have to use essence, and you roll, just like I did the guide for fate cards. Very similar system over there, but you have the old one and the new one. You pick between the two. We get this question a lot on my Discord. Hey, which one should I do? Which one? Which one? Which one? That's like 30-40% of the chat is just this question, but it's very important. And you choose between them. And as you see right here, if I just go to dismantle 1, I will get a protection ticket and 200 essence. This is at 0. If I do the same one at 3, it's 2100. I put in 600 to bring it up. So that's 6 plus 2, 800. So I got plus 1300 extra back. It's in general better to bring them to +3 and then get rid of them. This is for regular ones. For the core ones, they figured this out, and you get the same, so don't worry about just getting rid of them as regular. You're not losing anything. As you see right here, 300. Make our way down. Alright. So this is a very old sheet, but everything is up to date for the base the base IOs. I don't have one for the core ones yet, but I am working on it. as you see, the this is max at level 1. So just when you get a new one, this is the highest they can be. And this is just a color breakdown of what they will be at max. Any of these at level 20 will be this number right here. Ideally, you'll be looking for the increase, decrease, pierce protection, and tenacious and crit damage if you're in the crit sphere. As you see, a maxed out perfect crit damage slot is 20%. So if you have one on each of your inscriptions, that's 60% crit damage just off rip. Showing you how you get them. This is Elemental Realm. There's all 3 of these chests are different. This one is 100% gold. This is 40% gold, and this is purple. This is Top League, where you get a lot more. As you see, more of the guaranteed orange. There's some purple 40% in there, and then down here is the flat 40% flat purple orange. As you see, orange, 35% orange, 65 purple, and Burning Soul Battle, which is the core IO. This is the payout. As you see, the orange ones are what you obviously want. If you're free to play on an older server, you may have to hold off a couple weeks on leveling up so you can be in a different level bracket and then get these gold ones. But that is the full IO guide, everything that's currently active in the game. Let me know what you guys think down below. Till next time, guys.